What people don't realize is that the principal filming for Real Housewives, for Dallas at least, was only 12 weeks. It's generally like 12 to 14 weeks. And as someone who's like, residency, fellowship trained, like has done 36-hour shifts in the hospital before, I was like, surely I can like hang out with these misbehaved middle-aged women for 12 weeks. It's like not that long. It's a finite period of time. Being a physician and also an entrepreneur and a mom, it's kind of lonely sometimes. Like I work and then I come home and I hang out with my kids and then I get on the laptop and I work some more. And like, I don't really get to connect with other women who are sort of doing the same things or trying to do the same things. Cause it seems like every day, like we're just all working in parallel, but never like crossing over to cross-pollinate our ideas and inspire each other.
This podcast with Tiffany Moon is so exciting because it's brought to you by a brand that I'm excited to team up with, Metagenics. I have recommended Metagenics to my patients for years. It's the #1 doctor recommended supplement. And this spring, I had the pleasure of introducing their new line called Her Wellness. It's a 5-product line that supports women throughout every stage of their hormone journey. So many women suffer from health and wellness issues that they don't even realize stems from their hormone health. This line addresses the root cause, not just the symptoms. Metagenics thought of everything: stress relief, period relief, better sleep, and perimenopause and menopause support. Be sure to check out the Her Wellness line at metagenics.com. Now, let's get on with the interview with Dr. Tiffany Moon. Welcome to the Save Yourself podcast. I'm so excited to have Dr. Tiffany Moon here. We have so much to talk about: the Lead Her Summit, the book, all the things that she's doing in her life, and her really crazy story that's so inspiring to so many, including myself. So I'm so excited to talk to perimenopause, all the things, with Dr. Tiffany Moon. So she has a pretty crazy bio. So I will go kind of quickly through it, and then I'll let you introduce yourself. So Dr. Tiffany Moon is a world-renowned anesthesiologist, entrepreneur, and former star of the Real Housewives of Dallas. We'll talk about that too. She's an associate professor at UT Southwestern and a founder of the Lead Her Summit, a premier women's leadership event empowering high achievers to find joy beyond the hustle. She's a proud wife and a mom to twin girls. She connects with 3 million followers on social media through her candid takes on medicine, motherhood, and modern success. She has a book out. It's called Joy Prescriptions: How I Learned to Stop Chasing Perfection and Embrace Connection. And this has just come out. How has the book launch process been? Let's start with that.
It's been crazy. It's been, I guess, at the time of recording, 2 months since I launched my book. I am telling everyone that I feel like I just gave birth to my 3rd child. I feel like postpartum right now. It was a lot.
Was it a lot in a good way and bad way? I think for me, it's been both.
Yes. I mean, you've written 2 books, right? You have a 3rd coming out.
I have a 3rd coming out in the new year. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. I think when I first embraced the publishing process, I thought that writing the book was going to be the hard part, and it was not.
Yeah.
The promotion and publicity of it all was, I think, more difficult than the writing itself.
And then for you, like, you do all these funny videos, you're planning a summit, you're mom, and a physician. Like, I know that people are always asking you, like, this is like 5 full-time jobs for one person.
Yes. I wear a lot of different hats. I joke that I just like, change hats every day, but I love what I do. And so it doesn't feel like work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Why did you end up doing the Leadership Summit after all the things that you were already doing?
I decided to do Lead Her Summit last year because I just felt like there wasn't a conference for female professionals from different fields, not just medicine, but like law, finance, entrepreneurs, to get together and cross-pollinate their ideas and learn from each other. I wanted an entrepreneur, I wanted a coach, I wanted a legal advisor, I wanted a financial advisor, because we're so all busy doing our lives, working, running our businesses. And it's like we have a wealth of information to share with one another so that we can amplify each other's messages and get to the top faster. And I was looking for a conference like that to attend, and I couldn't find one. And so my husband was like, you should just make it. So we're doing it again this year. I hope
I'm
you'll
so proud
come.
of you. Okay,
Yes.
so I came to the first one. I have to tell everyone that's watching and listening. It was so fun. So what happened to me is like my flight was canceled and I ended up coming the next morning instead of the night before. And when I got there, I was like so exhausted. But literally, as soon as I started to listen to the speakers and connect with people, I was like, this is so worth it. Like sometimes I'll come into conferences and I'll just like do like say my speaking part or whatever, like a small, but I honestly enjoyed this one so much. And I stayed for the gala and for the sessions, and they were so inspiring. I loved meeting everyone, and I thought you did a fabulous job.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I had my fingers in every hole of that summit. Like I went to the menu tasting, I made the cards, I did the seating chart. Like I emceed the whole thing. I think I'm going to ask someone else to MC because it was sort of
Yeah.
a lot to MC the conference and introduce everyone and be behind the stage, like running and making sure the next speaker was mic'd and we were running on time and like talking into the headphone. Like it was a lot going on.
Yeah. Even though you had so many things going, you were still present. You were still doing like videos and we were like having fun. So I think you
Yes.
did a good
We still
job
made our
balancing.
TikToks.
Yeah, I think that
Yes.
was like good because I think you were also like having fun during it.
Yes,
So
yes.
tell us like why would someone want to come to the conference in case they're thinking like, "Oh, I might be interested." Who's the person who should come?
I think our ideal attendee is a woman who's mid career, probably has a family, probably has competing priorities outside of her career. They call that the elusive work life balance. Maybe she wants to leave her job and start her own practice. Maybe she wants to start speaking on the side or open up her own consulting or coaching business. Maybe she wants to write a book. Maybe she wants to increase her presence on social media as a way to grow her own personal brand or start a supplement line or do something else besides just clock in at work.
Yeah.
And she's curious how other women have done that, have written the book, started their skincare line, their supplement line, how they became a speaker who's paid to stand on stages and motivate and inspire others to take chances. It's that kind of conference. We're looking for someone who wants to do something differently. Like if everything in your life is perfect and you don't want anything to change and you feel completely fulfilled and you have a strong circle, then like don't come.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
if you feel like there's something in your life that you want to change, whether that's personally or professionally, if you're aching to make close connections to other professional women, because I feel like being a physician and also an entrepreneur and a mom, it's kind of lonely sometimes. Like I work and then I come home and I hang out with my kids and then I get on the laptop and I work some more. And like, I don't really get to connect with other women who are sort of doing the same things or trying to do the same things. Cause it seems like every day, like we're just all working in parallel, but never like crossing over to cross pollinate our ideas and inspire each other. So this conference is that. It is the cross pollination, the melding of the ideas, or you bringing something to the table and having someone give their opinion or a connection that can help you advance your business.
I think you hit the nail on the head because, like, think about us, right? There's so many things we want to connect on, you and I, and we're running in two different directions all the time. And it's like when you catch each other, it's like for a few minutes here and there, or some like a beautiful time like this where we're trying to connect. But it's really hard in this modern world when we all have so many things going on to have that connection piece. And so to come for a couple of days, really connect, learn from each other, network, I think it's really special. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
How do people find out more about that one?
You can get tickets or find out more at leadhersummit.com. And we also have an Instagram account. You can send us a DM.
Okay, awesome. So I know people who don't know you personally know you maybe from the Real Housewives. And I know you told me a little bit about your experience, positive and negative. Can you kind of now looking back at it, it's been a while now. Has it been like a year
Oh my
since
God, girl, my season aired in 2021.
what?
Girl,
I
was
thought you
4
were like
years
still
ago.
wow. Okay.
Which
4
is
years
crazy because it's still like what I get recognized
asked
for.
about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that people are familiar with Real Housewives. They're familiar with the franchise, and they're often even familiar with individual people from it. And the Dallas one was pretty memorable. So tell
Was
us,
it? I feel like Dallas was so not memorable.
I mean, maybe because I know you, but tell me what you, now that you're looking back at it 4 years ago,
Yeah.
what did you
It
think of it?
It was a crazy experience. I mean, if you had told me when I was graduating from medical school that like a decade later I'd be cast on a Real Housewives show on Bravo TV, I would have been like, you're smoking crack.
Yeah.
I am not the typical housewife. I think most people would agree to that. I sort of did it because the opportunity was presented to me, and they had been asking me several years in a row to join the cast of Dallas. And I was like, no, no, I'm full time at work. I have young twin toddlers at home. We're potty training. Now's not a good time. And then the third year that they asked me, I was like, you know what? Fine, I'll do it. What people don't realize is that the principal filming for Real Housewives, for Dallas at least, was only 12 weeks. It's generally like 12 to 14 weeks. And as someone who's like, residency fellowship trained, like has done 36-hour shifts in the hospital before, I was like, surely I can like hang out with these misbehaved middle-aged women for 12 weeks.
Yeah.
It's like not that long. It's a finite period of time. You'll have to read chapter 8 of Joy
Okay.
Prescriptions to get all the tea. But
Okay.
basically, I don't regret the experience. It really helped me to grow my platform and expose me to people who now know me from Housewives, but, have grown with me over the years. There was, a little bit of contention, a little bit of drama, nothing that couldn't be handled with a proper cease and desist letter. I am grateful to have been given the opportunity to be a housewife. I mean, there's only maybe like 150 or something, which kind of is small if you think about it across the
Yeah.
dozen or so cities in which there's been a Real Housewives franchise. But Dallas is no longer on air. They've put it on hiatus, probably indefinitely, I would guess, just because it never was one of the top performing cities anyway. But yeah, overall, like a very, I call it a detour from off of the straight and narrow path of being a good girl, immigrant, physician, mom. It was a little bit of detour off the straight path, and now I'm back on the path.
Would you ever do something like that again? Maybe not a Real Housewives, but a
I
different
wish there
one?
was like a Married to Medicine Dallas,
Yeah.
or I can probably say this now. I couldn't say it like a year or two ago, but we did a test for Bling Empire Dallas. It
Okay.
started in LA, and then they did an offshoot to New York, and the third city was supposed to be for Dallas. But for a multitude of reasons, none having to deal with me personally, it
Yeah.
didn't pan out.
Got it.
But that show was supposed to be like crazy rich Asians in real life,
That's cool.
which, I had told the producers, like, I want to make sure you show us working and not just like
Yeah.
partying and spending money. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I
Yeah.
work hard. I really wish that there was a show about female entrepreneurs running their businesses, their practices, their households, managing the kids' schedules, like real life. Like we don't even need to manufacture drama because guess what? Real life has plenty of it. Something is
Totally.
always breaking. Someone's always crying. Sometimes that's me. We have this new dog. He just like chewed my new jacket that I got while I
Oh
was
my
paying
God.
attention. Like we don't need to manufacture drama because in the real scheme of running life, businesses, children, households, whatever, like shit happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's, I mean, so I'm taking it that you would do something if the right opportunity were to come around, like you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's not that I enjoyed like filming because it's kind of tedious.
Yeah.
In order to like show up to a party, we'd have to like get out of the car like 6 times so that they could like get this angle, get this angle, get the hair toss, get the close up shoe angle. And I'm like, if I have to walk back, sit in the car, open the door, get out again. Like you just have to do things over and over and over again. And then the producers are in your ear, like, don't forget to bring up this that you heard
Oh
that
my
she said that, you know what I
gosh.
mean? So
Yeah.
let's not, saying that I enjoyed filming would probably be a lot, but like, I did enjoy being able to show that you can be a fairly normal person and a professional who loves their work and loves taking care of patients, but still be able to let your hair down, have a sense of humor, have a love for skincare, makeup,
Mhm.
fashion, beauty, luxury purses. Like I'm still a person, you know what I mean? Like just because I'm a serious anesthesiologist during the day doesn't mean that when I come home, I don't want to let loose and have a
Yeah.
hobby. You know what I mean? So
And you're
I did
super
like that.
funny. Like your Instagram and TikTok are like all comedy, like or a lot.
People sometimes will say in a comment or something, they're like, how come you weren't this funny on Housewives? And I'm like, because it's impossible to be funny when you're
Yeah.
like being pressured to fight, have conflict. People are gaslighting you, like calling you racist for making fun of your own mother. Like, you can't be funny when your walls are up, right? Like, you kind of
Yeah,
have to be
that's the thing.
vulnerable and comfortable in order to be funny. So, yeah, that side of me, sometimes an old clip of Real Housewives will resurface somehow, or someone will tag me in something. And it's so cringe
Yeah.
to watch myself on that show from 4 years ago. I mean, at Lead Her Summit last year, we talked about building your brand, social media, all that stuff. And I remember you had said, if you want to be successful or grow your presence, you need to climb Cringe Mountain. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh, girlfriend, I climbed it.
Yeah.
I'm standing at
Yeah.
the top of that mountain.
And that's a thing I always feel like, anybody, like if I look back at the stuff that I created in 2021, even on social media, it's cringe. So
It's so
like it's
cringe.
just part of growing and no, and like you said, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said when your walls are up and you're feeling very like stressed about everything around you, you can't be yourself. And like you can't be the best version of yourself. And so I think that's the biggest thing is like you kind of have to forget that you're on camera when you're doing like a funny thing or whatever. And I think with the Real Housewives, it's kind of hard to forget that you're on camera. Like there's a lot of like stuff going on. But I think that's a really cool experience. I think you'll take so much with it. And who knows what will come next from that.
Yeah, who knows?
So tell us about Joy Prescriptions. What made you write that book?
I wrote the book because I would frequently get asked for advice about things, about medicine, dating, life. And I wanted to tell people my story, but at the end of it, like give the reader something to take back to their lives. Because I've read a lot of books, I've read a lot of memoirs, and some of them are entertaining, interesting. But then at the end of it, I'm like, well, how is this supposed to help me? So
Yeah.
I wrote my memoir. I was very intentional about making it serve the reader in some capacity other than just being entertaining, which I hope it is. And so it's called Joy Prescriptions because at the end of each chapter, there's actually a joy prescription that I write for the
Yes.
reader to live their lives with more laughter, authenticity, connection, all those things that I learned were important for my joy that perhaps I didn't prioritize in my earlier years.
Speaking of dating advice, I don't know if you've shared this before, but how did you meet your husband?
It's that's in the book. It's
Okay.
chapter 3.
Give
Um,
us a
I was a
synopsis.
fourth year med student.
Okay.
It was the month between match day and graduation.
Yes, I know it
And I
well.
had no rotations left. Like
Yeah.
I was on like radiology. I still don't know how to read the film. And we were out at a club in Dallas. Sometimes I say bar, but if I'm being completely honest, it was a club,
Okay.
complete with bouncers,
Yeah.
velvet ropes,
Yeah.
bottle service.
Love it.
Yes. And my husband was there with his friend, and I was there with about 5 or 6 people from medical school. We were celebrating like the fact
Mhm.
that we were almost all about to graduate and we had all
Yeah.
matched. And I just bumped into him. His friend spilled my drink, I think on purpose. Daniel denies. He bought me a new drink, and the rest is history, I guess.
That's so
Yeah, so
cute.
sometimes my residents, I'm not as close with my residents as I am now. Back when I used to be heavily involved in resident recruitment and teaching, I've now stepped out of that role a little bit. But back when I was more involved with the residents, they would like let me swipe on their Tinder and stuff.
Ah,
Yeah. And then I would be like, oh, we'd be in the OR. And I mean, there's only so much you can talk about a case, 4 hours into an abdominal hysterectomy. And
yeah.
so then I'd be like, well, oh, do you have plans this weekend? Like, what are you going to do? And my resident, oh, yeah, I'm going to like meet this guy for coffee or we're going to go for a walk. So then I'd see her
That's
like,
cute.
weeks later in the OR and be like, hey, how was that date with that guy? Was it good or bad? And so, I would just hear all those stories from my residents.
So what's your advice to these young people who are,
The young people, it's hard these days
yeah,
because I met my husband like in 2008, right? So that was like right when
yeah,
like there was eHarmony or Match.com, but like there was no Tinder, Bumble, blah
yeah,
blah blah.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm so glad. I wouldn't even know how to do all that. Quite frankly, it's very overwhelming. And now there's just a plethora of choices. And I think if you're one of those people that's like the grass is always greener, and you have problems with commitment, which it seems like a lot of young men do these days, like
Yeah.
it's hard to settle down. And you're always thinking like there's something better out there. Like, oh, she chewed funny, so I'm dumping her. Like people are
Yes.
just so picky now. And I'm like, you cannot choose your partner. Like you can't make that. You have to take the good and the bad for a person. And I don't know, dating is weird now. Like,
I know. I think the internet, I think I was pre-internet also. And I'm like, how do you even know that they're telling the truth? I know they're not telling the truth half the time or most of the time. It's like, how do you even, because I
I
think
would
if
run a background check on everybody.
yeah, same. I'm like, how would you know that this person's actually, their job is actually their job? Or like, if you don't know any of their friends or you don't know anything about them, like, it's really
No,
like,
it's why, and I've seen too many. Like, I watched that one thing called Tinder Swindler on Netflix or something.
yes.
It
Oh
was
my
like conning these
God.
women to give him like tens of
I
thousands of
saw that.
dollars. Yeah, and just people ending up with like STDs from their Tinder dates, and I'm just like, oh, I cannot. I would if I had to date again, which knock on wood, I hope never to date.
Yeah, yeah.
I would need like a full set of labs, like a CBC chem panel, definitely a STD panel. I
Yes.
would need your credit report. Like
Yeah, because you would need to
it's
know, you wouldn't know
crazy.
those things. Like, I think if you're in school with someone or in
Right.
training with someone or
Right.
like you have common friends, you can kind of do that on a background check-ish.
Right.
But you can't do that with like a random person on the internet. It's really hard. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's why people are really struggling these days with dating. What is the next phase for Dr. Tiffany Moon?
That is a lovely question, Dr. Shaw. I have no idea. I am not being coy and I have
Yeah.
something and I'm just not telling it. I have no idea. This is the thing right now. I kind of don't know where I want to go.
Yeah.
I'll tell you where I am. I am working 3 days a week at the
Okay.
hospital, same hospital. I've only had one job out of residency ever, and it's the job that I currently have.
Love it.
So I'm 60%, so it's 3 days a week. I generally do not take overnight or weekend call anymore because I
Okay.
did that. I put in my
Yeah.
time. The
Yeah.
young people can have it.
Yes.
I am involved in my kids' life. They are both in competitive cheer. So
Mm,
I am now a cheer mom for better or for
that's
worse.
a lot of work. I know.
They're very lovely, and it's really been good for my girls to learn like teamwork and
Yeah.
struggle and perseverance, and it's been
Yeah.
really lovely.
Yeah.
I am married still,
Yeah.
and occasionally pay attention to my husband.
I love it.
I have no plans to write a second book. Sometimes I'll be talking about joy prescriptions, and they're like, "What's your next book going to be about?" And I'm like, "No, I am in a
Yeah.
postpartum state. I just gave birth to my third baby. Do not ask
Yeah.
me when the fourth is going to be because I don't think there's going to be one."
Yeah.
I'm really focused on Lead Her Summit.
Yeah.
We have an amazing lineup of speakers. I'm planning every single detail, making the seating chart. Being OCD about that. And then I'm planning a retreat for 2026. I'm deciding between Costa Rica and Paris, which I
Oh,
realize are very different locales. But the last retreat we had in Cabo
yes.
this year was amazing. It was 15 women, small mastermind, like whale watching, dinner, cocktails, like because the summit, as lovely as it is, it was 200 people. Like I
Yeah, you
couldn't
can.
even
Yeah.
speak to everyone. I could like
Yeah.
barely take a picture with someone and be like, nice to meet you, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the but at the retreat, I mean, it's 15 people. We're together all weekend. And so you really
Yeah.
get to make those deep, meaningful connections. And I feel like it's those connections that like really nourish my soul.
And that's kind of like a mastermind kind of thing
Yes.
when you do it at the so I think that's a lot on your plate already. Like even taking away the book and the show or whatever, you still have a lot going on. But what's the dates for both the retreat and the summit, just so everybody has them?
The summit is in Dallas this November, November 7th through 9th. It's like from a Friday afternoon to a Sunday afternoon. So people can
Perfect.
like fly in, fly out.
Is
You
there a
know,
gala like last time?
yes, there's a
Okay.
glam gala. You
Yes.
looked so beautiful. That was the TikTok that we made Saturday.
Yeah.
There's amazing breakout sessions. We have fun activations, lots of surprises in store, because
Okay.
as an entrepreneur and also as an entertainer, I always want to surprise and delight my guests, right?
Yes.
So this is not,
Yes.
I call it not your basic conference, right? It's
Yes.
luxurious, it's over the top. It really warms my heart because some of the girls who met at Lead Her Summit last year are now friends. They like stayed
Oh,
in touch. They call each other. Two of them like traveled together. And I saw a
oh.
picture on Facebook and I was like, oh my God, like I brought these people together and now they're besties. It like really warms my heart.
I saw a lot of people that I didn't know, like I had not never met in person, and
Yeah.
it was such a treat. So you did a great job. I think people are going to really enjoy it. Where can people find all the things like about the summit, about you, about the book? Where can you get all the information?
Yeah, Joy Prescriptions is available anywhere books are sold. We also have a website for more info. It's joyprescriptions.com. I am on all the social media platforms at Tiffany Moon MD, and Lead Her Summit is leadhersummit.com, where you can purchase your ticket. The gold ticket this year, the middle tier comes with 2 nights of hotel room. So it's all included. Like
Oh, amazing.
you really don't need to think about anything. You buy the gold ticket, book your airfare, and leave the rest to me.
That's amazing. That
Yeah.
sounds so exciting. I'm so excited for that. And then Joy Prescriptions, where do we get that?
You can get it anywhere books are sold. It's on sale at Amazon right now. I also narrated the audiobook of
Oh,
it.
you did?
So if you can stand the sound of my voice, I will read you the book. Because sometimes I hear from busy working moms, like, girl, reading, I don't have time to read. But
Yeah,
they do
I
have
do
time to
audiobooks all the
listen.
time.
They can listen while they walk the dog, drive to work, like wash the dishes, something like that. So if you can stand the sound of my voice, which I personally cannot, I will read the book to you over 6.5 hours.
I mean, that was, let me just tell you as an aside, I don't know about you, but that was painful.
Reading your own book in a sound booth. If you
Yes.
skip one word or slur,
Yes.
I said like gonna instead of like going to, and
Yeah.
the guy in your ear, there's like a secret guy in your ears, like read it again, like start at the top of the paragraph. And I'm like,
I
oh,
know. I know. It's
you have
so
to
painful.
enunciate very
I'm,
perfectly
and I remember that was the first time I didn't have access to my phone for like 8 hours because, you're like in that booth.
in the
And
sound booth.
I could not believe how many texts and emails we send on a regular day. Like,
Yeah,
isn't it crazy to be away from it for like, I mean, I know we know that on vacation, but like a regular working day, if you're not at your phone, like
yeah.
there's so much that happens.
Yeah, it was very stressful to be in the sound booth, using my brain, paying attention, and then
Yes.
getting done at like 3 p.m. to go pick up the girls from carpool. And I had like 43 text messages.
Yes.
The
And then you're like, is any of these important? And then you kind of
fact of
forget
the
about the
matter
rest.
is that, like, this is also what I learned by the time, because some of them were sent at like 10 a.m. or whatever. By the time I responded at like 4 p.m., they're like, oh, I took care of it or I figured it out. I
Yes.
was like, interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is so true. Like sometimes like your team or anybody who asks you to do things that I notice too. And also like even we had a girls trip going on, like a planning thread. And like, by the time I got to it, it was like, they had figured it out. Like you said, like, it was like, okay, we have a solution. I just kind of had to show up, which was amazing. But yeah, I didn't enjoy that part. That was
Yeah,
not fun.
usually I'm a quick responder. Like
Yeah.
I always tell my friends, like if I don't respond to your text message within like 4 hours, like please send search and rescue because something is
Yeah.
wrong. Like I always respond.
That's amazing. That's a really great quality.
No, I don't think it is. I think it's like I need to, I don't know. I used my friend's phone the other day and she had like 46 like unread messages. And I was like, "Are you gonna read these?" And she was like, "No." And I was like, "Oh my God, like I didn't know you could live life that way."
I know. It
So
is
I
stressful to see unread text messages. Like
yes,
I feel stressed when I have text messages that
me
I
too.
haven't responded to. So I get what you're saying, but I definitely am not as good as you are. Like I definitely, because I feel like I'm always scanning for like emergencies. And so if I answer the emergency, sometimes I'll forget on the non-emergencies.
Yeah.
The phone thing is a tough thing. So, anyways, thank you so much for being on here and having this conversation. I think what people will really get out of it is the joy of prescriptions. I think this is a wonderful book that you've written, and it's funny too, and it's
Yes.
prescriptive, and there's actionable tips there. The Lead Her Summit, like I said, I had such a great time. I think it's going to be a blast. Again, I was like thinking, I'm like November 7th to 9th, I want to come. And then the retreat, that's something that's super, super exciting too, because I think small groups is when people really get to know you.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
you have a website and Instagram. Can you share that also?
Yes, my website, like if you want to book me for speaking or whatever, is just tiffanymoonmd.com. And then my Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, everything is Tiffany Moon MD.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being on. Are you going to be in Arizona anytime soon? I'm
I
actually in
don't think
California right
so.
now,
You
but
were, there was a stop of my book tour, and
I know
everybody
I
I
missed
knew was
it.
out of town that day. Is so funny. Um,
I was in Orange County that time, like at a speaking event. So I hope that you come back.
yes,
And
I will,
I
and I'll let you know because I
Okay.
love Scottsdale. I always. Oh wait, I think I'm coming to Brave Enough in September,
Okay, perfect.
so I'll see you in September
Let's plan to meet up.
for
Okay,
sure.
awesome. Great. Thanks for everyone for watching. This is the Save Yourself podcast with Dr. Tiffany Moon.